Martin Hyde. I remain a local resident, taxpayer. I came here a month ago, if those of you might remember, and asked 10 questions of this board. And despite thousands of people seeing what I asked, and dozens asking me what the answers from you were, not a single response was offered. In truth, one response has been made, which is that yesterday, a newspaper article casting me in a negative light was shared by Sarasota Memorial Management on the hospital network. Quite what my alleged character flaws have to do with medicine or medical treatment in this hospital, you might want to ask those who distributed it. What taxpayers, or for that matter you as board members, might make of a hospital network being made to push gossip about someone who dared to question hospital policy, time will tell. Suffice it to say that it opens up a defamation liability, in part for taxpayers, that has no explanation other than malice and vengeance on the part of the person who posted the article, who I'm happy to share the name of. I remind you that you're elected district representatives, not of the hospital, but of the people who live in these districts, who pay the taxes that in part support this hospital. If Sarasota Memorial does not want to be accountable to the public in any meaningful sense, it should stop taking tens of millions in taxpayers' support annually. Let me be clear. I do not blame Sarasota Memorial for COVID, nor for the mishandling of it at federal level, over which you have no control. Neither do I criticize decisions that were made locally in the height of the pandemic, as I believe you did what you thought were the right things. What has changed in the past 2 years is what is known. But as we've heard from the CDC this week, there's a sense that the general public might misunderstand, or as the CDC spokesperson put it, the information isn't ready for prime time. To that end, we now know that the CDC has withheld information from the public about the efficacy of boosters for the 18 to 49-year-old demographic. We also know that the wastewater data has been withheld, which would in itself be an early indicator of surges or infection levels. The questions I ask, though, remain unanswered and need to be answered honestly. Misinformation is what fills the void left by no information. Informed consent cannot be given without information, and it's my contention that per the Hippocratic oath of do no harm, it does a lot of harm to assert that patients are too fragile or perhaps too stupid to handle the truth. Since I came here last month, I've seen a rather amateurish recruitment video made to recruit potentially dozens of new nurses for Sarasota Memorial from the Philippines in an apparent attempt. Is that for me, that music? Oh, congratulations to somebody. All right, so with regard to a video for Sarasota Memorial recruiting Filipinos and an apparent attempt to replace American nurses and medical staff who might question your draconian vaccine mandate policies. I'm also aware that the hospital system has been paying overtime rates of close to $50 an hour over normal rates to cover staff shortages in certain shifts. Perhaps instead of paying the annualized overtime equivalent of close to $150,000 a year per nurse, it might not make more sense to offer more than the recent miserly rates of increase of $1 to $2 per hour to retain full-time employee levels. Attitudes need to change among some of those who are making medical decisions on people in need of surgery who are unvaccinated. Withholding surgery or pressuring people with the threat of withhold treatment is wildly inappropriate and shouldn't be sanctioned by this hospital system while it receives public money. In summary, it is no longer March 2020, but almost March 2022. We are all perfectly capable of handling the truth, and not some editorialized versions which limits our choices. There is no need to massage the daily numbers to include cases that are no longer positive, nor to include unvaccinated patients who are vaccinated but simply don't have their card on their person when tested. Much like one can't get a little bit pregnant, you can't be mostly honest. And in being anything less than 100% honest, meaning full disclosure of all facts, you risk people not believing anything you say.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
You're welcome. Have a nice day.
We will now move on